This is the Celiac Project, two guys talking gluten-free. Just wanted to give a little disclaimer. We are not medical experts, doctors, dietitians,
Nurses.
bone experts, surgeons.
We're only experts at being celiac patients.
So enjoy the show. And if you're going to do any changes to your diet or need real medical advice, please go to the medical professionals.
That's what they're there for.
Today's episode of the Celiac Project podcast is sponsored by Taste Republic, who believes everyone deserves to eat good, fresh pasta, no matter their dietary restrictions. All of Taste Republic's pastas are certified gluten-free and beloved for not sacrificing taste or texture. With fan favorites such as 4-cheese tortelloni and cauliflower linguine, Taste Republic has a wide range of pastas to choose from. Find Taste Republic at retailers such as Whole Foods Market, Publix, Sprouts, Meijer, H-E-B, or online at tasterepublic.com. The Celiac Project podcast is proud to be partnered with Bull & Company MediaWorks, specialists in website design and digital marketing with over 20 years of experience. Go to bullcm.com to find out about all of their services.
You found the Celiac Project podcast, two guys talking gluten-free.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Cam.
And who's joining us on the podcast today?
Your daughter, Jessica.
That's right. It's Jessica with her final reveal of what college she chose. It's going to be a great show. Let's get to it.
Sounds good.
Hey, Cam, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. This is one that we've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. Those of you who are loyal listeners to the podcast know that we've been talking about my daughter, Jessica, and the college search that we have been undergoing for the last year plus. And so today we have our wonderful guest, Jessica, my daughter. Say hi, Jessica.
Hi.
And Jessica, before we start, because there might be some new listeners, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, anything you want to share before we jump into this fun discussion. I think you're going to have the big reveal today about where you chose to go to college, why. We'll get into a food discussion around the search in general and whatever else comes up. But why don't you just remind our listeners a little bit about yourself, anything you want to share today?
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica. I am Mike's daughter. I am 17 years old. I'm a senior in high school. And that's pretty much that.
Okay. And as we've been talking about, we've been on this kind of fun college search. I've shared some stuff. You've come on in the last year, and you're one of our favorite guests. I was saying, Cam, before we started today, I was reminding Jessica the first time that she was on the podcast, she was probably like 7 years old or something, maybe 6.
Wow.
So we've got to see Jessica grow up before our eyes, and it's just been so much fun, and I cannot believe you're about to go to college.
Me neither.
Last time you were on, you were still going and checking out different schools and stuff, and we didn't really get to have a conversation pre-decision with all of your selections to like kind of hash out, because I was curious, maybe we can kind of backtrack and go this way. But like, what was your pro-cons list looking like? You don't have to share what your final decision was. Kind of go back to when you had all of your options on the table. What was your pro and cons list of each place that you had gone to so far?
I think that I was kind of all over the place, especially when we just started. I had schools on my list that were like super far, ones that were huge public schools, some that were like smaller private schools. And I think ultimately I knew I wanted to kind of stay in the Midwest, so that helped with decision making a lot. Like there were some schools that I hadn't visited, that I'd applied that are further, that I just didn't see myself at. Like I didn't really feel the vibe.
It didn't align with your personality or anything? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many factors of college that I've learned. Like when I made a list, it was like 10 plus categories of things that I had to take into consideration. Like, how good is it for my major? Like, how is the commute? How's the food? Like, that was a big thing for me, was, are they going to be able to accommodate me? And just there was a lot of factors that go into it.
And before you made your decision, like, was there a final 3, a final 4? Like, how was that last step before deciding how many schools were you kind of deciding between at the end?
For me, it was kind of a final 2, but
Okay.
There was one that had pretty much everything that I needed and was looking for. So it was a little hard, but I knew in my gut that this one that I chose was the right choice.
So without giving away your selection yet, what were these criteria that these two schools were meeting that you were deciding between?
They were both like equidistant from where I live, like both pretty good with location in terms of what I wanted. They're both big schools, both part of the Big Ten without giving too much away. They both were ranked pretty well for my major. I feel like they were similar in a lot of ways, especially with like the social scene, the academics, both like exactly what I wanted. I think it came down to they were able to accommodate me better in pretty much most aspects. I felt that there was a good community around me. I felt that the people there, they were like my people. I don't know, like a lot of times, like before I went through this process, I would ask college students, oh, like, why did you pick the school that you're at? And they would be like, oh, like the vibe. Then I'm like, oh, you do get vibes when you're on these campuses, like when you're just even walking around or at a talk. I went to classes for the school I chose, and I was like, I can see myself being a student here. And I think that was what made the biggest difference to me.
I want to say something too. I'm imagining everybody listening to this, and I'm like on the edge of my seat, and I actually know where she chose. So say what you were saying.
I'm trying to build tension, baby.
No, you did a great job.
So where did you decide not to go?
You're saying what
The
to a
one
final
that
two.
you crossed off. Yeah, you said it was down to a final two.
Okay.
You crossed one of those off, and it was not the selection. What was that one? The one that you did
That
not
was
select?
the University of Wisconsin-Madison, which was my dream school for most of high school. Like when I started thinking about the idea of college back when it was just an idea, that was a school that was consistently at the top of my list since I've been going for softball to Madison for tournaments in the summer. And so we've always like sort of been by that campus, like been around it. I've always really
A little
liked
bit
it.
like a second home for you in a way.
Yeah, I've always really liked it and like started looking into it when we were at the very beginning of the college search, which I think the beginning of the college search was probably the hardest for me because I really had no clue what I wanted and what any of it was about.
Well, and I think it's so wild too that ultimately one of your favorite spots, one of your original picks, your intuition was right. It made it to the finals. So you were not like wrong on your mark of what you wanted, but it is really wild that you ended up picking something different than that. So I was trying to think, should we finally do the reveal, Mike, or do we need to stretch it on a little bit longer and make people go crazy?
No, I think this is a perfect time for her to reveal it because I had some thoughts also why it's been a very interesting process to watch you go through this, Jessica, to kind of support you through it all. Why don't you tell our listeners the school you chose, and then we can get into some of the details about like why. And it's really been, I think, a fun process. I will say, Cam, Jess and I have both sort of, as we've reflected, and Jessica's mom as well, it's really been a really cool sort of organic process, I think. Why don't you tell everybody what you chose and we can get into some of the whys?
Okay, yeah. So the school that I chose was the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Like this process, if you asked me where I was going at the beginning, it's always been in my head, but I never like thought of it as like, wow,
Front
like,
runner.
Yeah. So it was very interesting for me to see how everything played out. Even after I submitted college applications, it still wasn't like at the front of my head. But now I'm like, I don't think I could have made a better choice for myself.
Yeah, you can't see yourself anywhere else.
Yeah. And just to add a little bit of the flavor from my perspective. So, like you said, Cam, and Jessica said this, she had this connection to Madison. We'd make visits there, and she slowly kind of got to look around campus. And I think Illinois was the opposite, where it was always there and she was always going to apply, but never visited. And so I think that sometimes when it's your state school, there's not the same sort of cachet or the same.
Romanticized.
Yeah.
It seems kind of plain
Right.
a bit.
And if you go back and listen to the podcast, Jessica wasn't on with us when you and I talked about that trip where we went to see Indiana, University of Illinois, and also Miami in Ohio. That was her first real visit. And that to be there with you one-on-one and see all of these kind of like lights go on, like, wow, this isn't what I expected. And feeling that vibe and feeling like, wow, from the very first moment, I feel like we stepped on campus, you could see yourself there. Am I wrong? You tell us what it was about U of I that, and if I call it U of I know now it's called University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which I went the first 50.
It is also U of I.
Yeah.
It's just U of I because I'm at UIC.
Yeah, but
I'm at technically a U of I school, but they don't call it that.
I went like my first 55 years of my life thinking of the campus at Champaign, Urbana as U of I. And my dad went there. So I have like a family connection. And your aunt went there, your mom's sister. So to me, I am filled with pride with her choice and just couldn't be happier.
So Jess, if you can tell us, like, paint the picture, the magical picture, this beautiful, perfect picture of why U of I was the selection for you.
So I think I went into our first visit of U of I with such like a very open mind. Like I had pretty much no expectations, but I was trying to not paint a picture of what I thought it was going to be like. So we get there, we have like a talk, and I'm liking everything that's been said. It was just like basic information, I think, about the college, like as an admitted student. And then we went on this walking tour. And I think it was like we were walking around like the main part of campus, and it was a Friday and it was busy. There were like kids walking to classes. I think there was like a moment there when I looked at you and I was like, I really like this school. I feel like I would really see myself here.
There was such a good energy.
Yeah.
It was the President's Day weekend. It was right before Valentine's Day. And there were a lot of groups out. It was the main quad she's talking about. Beautiful sunny day. And there was just like an energy with the students, and it was palpable. I felt it as well. And it just felt like you clicked with it just from the jump, as the kids say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we were only even there for a day. I think we stayed one night and we left after our visit. We went to the visit after we spent the night, and then I think we left after that. And that was like, even just going for one day was pretty much like enough for it to be like front of my head, top of the list type of thing. And I knew that I've looked into like programs for, I'm a psychology major, so I've looked into their program and I've like started doing more research about like just how my life would be as a student. And I think that that just solidified it more, especially after visiting the campus, knowing that I like it. I always sort of thought that it was like people would talk about it as the school in the cornfields, but there is really a whole city. It didn't feel I don't know.
As out like, in the middle of nowhere, as people were saying.
Yeah. There's this whole city, and it's a huge school. I mean, it feels like
a big campus.
Yeah, and there's like 50-something thousand.
I think even more. Yeah, it's one of the largest schools
huge
in the country, which is crazy.
So when you were weighing your choices between all the different schools, I know you said it being a good fit for your major was going to be a big component. And then, like you said, just your overall comfortability with the vibe and how it lines up with your personality and who you are. And then obviously, though, as a celiac, that's kind of why we're all here too. There's an element of the food and food safety. So I'm assuming you had a pretty good food experience at U of I too, if that was also at the top of your list. Is there anything about that, your college visit and the food experience that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, so I think that the food like blew me away. I think since we've been on so many visits and eaten at so many like dining halls, this one, they definitely like exceeded my expectations for the food. So the first time we were there, we ate at one of the main dining halls. It was good. It's called Inclusive Solutions is what they have. So they have a station that's free from the top 9 allergens, where they don't even cook with any of that in their kitchen at all, which is nice since I have issues with dairy. Soy is a new one for me. I have an oat issue like my dad.
But oats isn't one of the top 9 allergens. So technically, like, they have cookies there that are made with the certified oats. But
no, but I understand what you're saying. You have other food intolerances that you have to be also conscientious of in addition to the gluten-free.
Yeah, so it's nice to know that there's a place I can eat. Well, there's multiple. So they also have this app which you can order if you're part of the Inclusive Solutions. Like, you have an app where you order your food like an hour in advance and you pick it up, or you like just get it on a plate, like they make it for you. You pick it up at the place and eat it.
So 2 of the main dining halls have the Inclusive Solutions, which is, as Jess said, free of the top 9. And so you can walk up any day. But what's really nice is they have, as she said, the app. And we just got back from the trip where she committed to Illinois. And it was great because we decided to extend it one day because everybody talked about like our first visit. And then this last visit, everybody's like, you got to meet Flora, our head dietitian. So Flora set up a meeting with 2 of her interns who were students, I think grad students, and one was actually from our area. And so right before we left, we met with the 3 of them. And before I tell you how that went, Jessica, how did you feel about that meeting? As a parent, I felt like there were these moments the whole time where like I felt so good about the meetings that we had with people, and Flora was no exception. What did you think of that meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. So she met us in one of the main dining halls. And when Flora was describing the protocols, there was just this sense of her that she cared about each individual student she was working with. And I think that made me feel very safe. And she was so like involved in just making sure that each student had their needs met and had the best possible experience with food that they could.
Also, her expectations for the way things should be were so above and beyond. It's like, I thought a lot of times, Cam, I wish that you were in at these meetings and that someone from UIC was there, because she always wanted things to be like the safety of the students and not wanting to ever introduce any of the allergens to these places and trying to make things easier for the students who needed accommodations based on their diets. You could tell how much she didn't bring up any specific colleges by name, but she knew stories of people at places that they weren't doing as well. And she wasn't throwing anyone under the bus. But I looked at her and she was like, I really need things to be this way. And you could tell she sometimes maybe made other people in the dining infrastructure maybe weren't always happy with her because she needed things to be so meticulous in the way she ran it. And these interns that she brought along were so impressive. And the way they talked to Jessica, there were just all these points where like Jessica was talking to Flora and Ellen and I were talking to the interns, and the one intern said, she's going to do so well here. There were just these moments along the way, and it actually like opened up your mind to actually maybe studying nutrition a little more. Just that meeting, everything, it just all felt like, yeah, every step along the way, I had these moments where I was like, is this going as well as I think it is? Because like Jessica was saying, where very quickly, I think she knew she could see herself there. But it became very clear that the supports there and the culture there felt like such a good fit, right?
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. And she also, like, during the thing, she printed out menus for us of, like, the options that would be available to me, like, on the app, and she let me take it home. So, like, we have, like, pretty much...
You'll be designing your food for next year, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I wanted to take a minute to talk about our sponsor and longtime supporter, Taste Republic. Taste Republic was founded with a singular purpose, and it's one that they have not swayed from, producing high-quality, fresh, gluten-free pasta.
Yeah, Cam, and what's really cool was how it all started. One of Taste Republic's co-founders was selling traditional pasta at the local farmer's market, had a loyal customer diagnosed with celiac disease, and was upset that they couldn't eat pasta anymore. That was all the inspiration he needed, so he set out to develop a recipe that was gluten-free, yet matched the taste and texture of traditional pastas.
And the wild part is Taste Republic pulled it off. They still operate under the idea that everyone deserves to eat good pasta no matter their dietary needs. They continue to develop some of the best gluten-free pastas available, like their famed 4-cheese tortelloni, which happens to be one of my favorites. The best part is that you can find Taste Republic's pastas, including the 4-cheese tortelloni or linguine, at top retailers including Whole Foods Market, Meijer, Publix, Sprouts, and more.
Check out all their delicious pastas at tasterepublic.com, where you can use their convenience store locator to find them locally or purchase online. Now let's get back to the show.
Sounds good. I'm just curious too, did you happen to get in touch with the DRC when you were down there at U of I? Disability Resource Center?
Yeah, so they call that Dres at Illinois, and our next step is to deal with the housing. That was another thing that was wonderful that she brought these interns, Cam, because one of them used Dres help figuring out the dorm, and I know you used that at UIC. So
Yep.
yeah, we talked a lot about that. We did talk to someone. There was like a fair this Saturday, and we met people from that department, and that is the next step. And I'm sure we'll be reporting on how that goes in further podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. And my guess too would be, I'm just speculating here, Jess, but just to share the info with you, likely because you're a freshman, I'm assuming you would not want to live on your own because socially that might be a little bit isolating. But I'm assuming there's going to be other kids there that are gluten-free, and you'll probably get paired up with someone else that's gluten-free as a dorm mate. So that'll be kind of cool. I hope that's what happens for you. Is that what you're hoping for too?
Yeah, so I'm kind of working on the whole roommate thing right now. So I'm not, don't want to like jinx anything, but I'm putting stuff out there, and I will get back to you when I know, but
Cool.
I don't want to like speak too soon, but
For sure.
my mom and I have talked a lot about living with somebody, like sharing a room, like a very small room, small fridge, all that stuff. And it would be so nice to share that with someone who had the same experience as me.
Yeah,
would
and
also-
understands and like would care about your safety.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's even hard sometimes with my friends to even want to correct them if something is like not the way it needs to be. And I'm like, it would be kind of hard with a complete stranger pretty much to always be like, I don't want to seem like that person that's always going to complain, even though, I mean, I would have to for my safety, but.
Totally. And going back to the DRC or DRES in your case, that's why that's good to have in place too. Because for whatever reason, let's say, I don't know how the odds would work this way, but let's say you were the only celiac in the whole freshman class and you got paired up with a gluten eater and they were a bit messier and not cognizant of your safety, that you could go to DRES and they could help figure out a new situation or a different situation for you, which would be great.
Yeah. So that's a great resource that I'm going to utilize a lot.
Or if you accidentally, like your cousin, drink some beer out of a wine bottle or a champagne bottle, I mean.
No, yeah, just having somebody that understands and would help keep each other safe, sort of. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that was just a light dig at you, Sam. I'm just teasing.
I was going to ask too, Jessica. So as great as the dining was at Illinois, just thinking back, it's fun now. We did all these visits to different schools. Is there anything that you saw on another visit or at another school that you thought, oh, this was like the ideal gluten-free? Again, I think Illinois is definitely in the top, and I've seen these lists lately where they're maybe a top 10 school for gluten-free and allergen dining. Was there anything you saw at any of the schools that you're like, oh my God, this would be my favorite thing if that was at my school?
Yeah, so Michigan State's always going to be up there since they had the full dining hall free from the top 9 allergens, so that's like pretty hard to beat with that one. But I mean,
instead of a station, it was the whole like cafeteria.
Yeah, so which that's pretty cool, free from the top 9.
But then your mother also pointed out before we came on the podcast that they didn't have, again, not throwing shade. That was maybe my favorite dining experience just because it was the first and only cafeteria that we went. And I know other schools have these, so I'm not saying Michigan State was the only one. Of the schools we visited, it was the only one with the full dining hall that was dedicated. However, she pointed out to me that overall, I didn't remember. I was looking back at some of the Michigan State stuff today, and it might be different from when we visited, but that was the only dining hall that could certify that was free of the top allergens. Again, everybody has little different protocols, but I would say Illinois overall, from my perspective, was the best or among the best food that we saw, and it was also tasty.
I agree. And I think a reason why Illinois is so good is because they had options in like the main dining halls. So they have like the stations in the 2 main dining halls, which is like where a lot of people eat. So if I was with my friends, I could get what I want. They could get whatever they get. And it's good in that sense. And when I have the app, I can also order things to 4 dining halls. So 2 other ones as well as the 2 main dining halls. So I could get food from 4 different places and know that it's safe, which is also pretty cool.
They really had it running really, really well. I was really impressed with how organized it was and how they really are making life easier for those with allergies and celiac disease.
That's awesome. And I think, I can't remember now, I feel like we talked about U of I's dining hall once before, did we not?
We did. So when Jess and I went, and we didn't have Jessica on that show, but the one where
That's
we
what it
did
was.
Miami, Ohio, Indiana, and we had a sort of awkward time at Indiana where we got a lot of deer in headlights. Again, it was a weekend and it was just a little bit different. But yeah, that was the first time we got to experience it, was that show. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. The reason I was asking was because I do remember now, I feel like U of I's dining protocol, but probably logistically is probably safer and better than UIC's. But you had mentioned U of I had its own separate kitchen, like an entire kitchen. Whereas here, I know that the kitchen is a shared kitchen, but there is a dedicated space and it's like very far away. And I don't know if it has walls or something, but it's like somehow secluded and it's an allergen-free area. But it would be so much nicer if there was like an allergen-free kitchen in its entirety.
Yeah. So to answer your question, they're actually with these two main dining halls, they have stations, right? And this whole kitchen, nothing comes in that has any of the
Yeah.
allergens. And so there's two of those in these separate dining halls. They each have their own. And then, like Flora was telling us, when you use the app, each of the other dining halls have separate spaces that are safe. And she said she's had one mistake in the last 3 years with a kid getting an allergen that wasn't right using the app. So,
Mhm.
again, pretty good to me. I'll take that.
Yeah, those are pretty good odds. Obviously, everyone wants it to be 0, but that is not too bad. 1 in 3 years.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they gotta restart the ticker here because they got me.
Yeah, no, I know that's a bummer. And we hope that they're working. It's hard that you've had to deal with some of the issues that you've had to. And I hope things are just getting better with that.
Yeah, my luck has been pretty decent since then. Definitely no notable glutenings. My digestive system is a bit all over the place again, but that could always be for a myriad of reasons. So I'm doing good overall. I'm good over here.
Okay, that's good.
That's good.
So, Jessica, we've talked a lot about Illinois. So, looking back at this process, I know we have a lot of parents out there, hopefully some students who are going to go through what you're going through. Any big takeaways from the process, going through this process, that you think would be helpful for parents or students to hear? Like, what do you think are some of the main things, maybe looking back, that you wish you had known, or things like light bulb moments that you've had during the college search from a celiac
Yeah.
perspective or anything else?
I would definitely keep an open mind, especially as you're going on visits. Like, definitely keep an open mind, but compare, like, weigh your options. I think for me, I had to really think about what was important to me. I think everyone has different values and things that they really look for in a college. I think that as someone with celiac, food is higher on my list for things that are important to me than some other people. So I know things that were important for me was food, was location. I valued the education I'm getting. Like, I had different things that I was really looking for. So I think, especially when it came down for the last 2 schools for me, on these visits, just trying to picture yourself being a student there. I think going to classes was really helpful. Sometimes visits, if it's just walking around campus, making sure you do your research and you know what you're getting into.
Well said. It's interesting from my perspective, Cam and Jessica. I felt like going there with you, I feel like there were all these little moments where everything just felt like this was the place. And there were things that were fun that weren't part of the decision. We got to see Illinois make the Final Four and be at the Union. And there's obviously
I was
good.
wondering if that had anything to do with your decision.
I joked about it, but
Yeah, we joked if they don't win this game, you can't. Anyways,
Deals off. We're out of here.
Yes.
We're going to
off,
Wisconsin.
driving home.
it was fun that we were on campus and got to experience that on campus and got to kind of like share that with the student body who's there
Totally.
now. But that was one of those things that she was going to accept the offer no matter what, whatever happened.
Just a serendipitous coincidence.
Yeah, but there were things, it all felt to me like icing. Like, she met students that she had seen before and connected with them. And we actually did meet a very nice family where the daughter had celiac and connected with them. And I think you said this, where everybody just felt, I think you put it, normal. Like, it felt like
Down to earth. Like, I felt everyone had this quality that I really looked for in people that I meet. So that aspect socially is very important to me. Like, the social aspect of school, like college, is also something important. And I just felt like I could see myself there.
Yeah.
in that sense too.
Cam, did you have any other questions for Jessica before we wrap up
Yeah.
today?
One last one. I kind of wanted to just jump back to how when you made your decision and you were suggesting advice for how other people should maybe go about this. And it's kind of like you're talking back to your past self in a way too, like what you would tell yourself. What are the feelings that you found that were the like check mark for you? Like, was it a safety? I know you've been describing like comfort and vibes and stuff like that. What were like all of those feelings? What did that feel like? And that's like why you knew. Like, when did that happen and what caused it?
I think I had some eye-opening moments for sure. Like when I was visiting the first time, I definitely had some, oh, I didn't realize like they have this program that I'm really interested in. Like just certain things that I'm like, huh, like I didn't think of this before, but now I see this for myself. So I think the feelings were just sort of like excitement because I was excited to go there. Like I think that was a big thing for me is like just being excited about going to this school was the biggest thing.
Definitely. I gotcha. There was some like unrealized opportunities that they showed you, and that's what's got you invigorated and ready to roll.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Cam, she wanted to hit the commit button. Like we said, well, you're still going to go to some of these psychology classes. Like, let's make sure. And we still have a couple calls to make about finding out this or that. And she was like, almost from the moment I think we stepped on campus, she was ready to commit. And it's such a good feeling. I'll say this to Jessica. I don't think any of you, me, your mother, your sister, even, obviously you, that nobody had any reservations, right? There's never this moment of like, oh, this would be great, except this isn't so great. It's really nice to have something happen in your life. And I'm not saying I know college isn't going to be perfect and you're going to have your bumps in the road, but entering this, you have friends who chose schools like this year and past years who are on the fence between this school and that school. It's so nice to have confidence. And I didn't have one moment where we were there where I felt like, well, is this right? And so in my life, when I selected a school, I think I always had doubts, and it's just been such a nice process, as I said, been so much fun to experience this with you and through your eyes to see such excitement. And when I say ILL, you say
I.
And is there anything you wanted to share that we didn't talk about today, Jessica, before we wrap up?
No, I agree with everything you said. I feel like it all played out the way it should have played out in terms of like the whole process. I think that I didn't see a negative in the school at all. Like I think everything was very balanced and like, oh, this is good. This is good. Like I couldn't find
No compromises.
Yeah. And I was like, exactly, no compromise. And I think that that made me feel really good in my decision.
That's great. And while I have you here and we're recording this, you can say that your father had a good feeling that we should visit Illinois as soon as possible because I thought it might move up your list.
Yeah, he knew it all along.
My evil plan paid off, Cam.
You have good dad intuition.
Thank you. Anyways, this has been so much fun, Jessica, and I'm sure we'll have you on when you start this process and we'll talk about housing and like your freshman year. So a lot to look forward to. And I'm excited to give updates. But thanks everyone for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. See ya.
See ya.
We have a special offer for you now through Celiac Awareness Month.
Yeah, now through May, our wonderful sponsor, Taste Republic, is partnering with us to offer anyone who joins our TCP Inner Circle with some awesome gifts.
If you sign up for $5 a month for a year, we'll send you a $10 Taste Republic coupon so you can try some of their amazing fresh pasta on them. And we'll send you one of their eco-conscious organic tote bags, perfect for those grocery store runs.
If you join our TCP Inner Circle for $10 a month for a year, Taste Republic will also give you a really nice apron so you can show off your chef skills and style. And we'll send you a Celiac Project t-shirt, our way of saying thanks for letting us support you on your gluten-free journey.
With some free Taste Republic pasta and some great swag, you can look fresh and cook fresh.
The best part is that as a TCP Inner Circle member at any level, you get to be a part of our hangouts with us and other members once a month. We love our incredible listeners, and we're always learning something from one another.
This offer is only valid in the U.S. Go to patreon.com/celiac project to join or to find out more about how we are making a difference in the celiac community.
Come join us at our next TCP Inner Circle Hangout.